Hello, and thank you for coming today. I'm the son-in-law for Christina Lopez. It's with deep sadness to share that we lost Chris, as we called her, to an unfortunate tragedy in the Metra train accident at the Clarendon Hills stop yesterday morning. Chris was a tremendous mother to these three wonderful women behind me, and an incredible son-in-law to myself, Michael, and others. She was a loving grandmother to 5 grandchildren, 3 of which are Josephine and ours, 2 of which are Mike and America's. She watched them on a regular basis at this house here, multiple times a week. She was a devoted sister to her 10 siblings, 7 of which are still with us today. She was a caring aunt to many nieces and nephews, as you can imagine. And she was a loyal, lifelong friend to many. Last weekend, being Mother's Day, we were very fortunate to have most of the extended family here, and we got to celebrate Mother's Day with Chris included. Little did we know the blessing of that time that we had with her, and we're very thankful for it. But we do know that she'll be terribly missed. This accident was preventable. If anyone has information, video footage, or any information that could help us get to some answers, we would much appreciate it. So please, please reach out. We want to get to answers, but also importantly, we want to do our part to help so that no family has to do and go through this tragedy again. It didn't have to happen. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support. And most importantly, thank you for your privacy as we go through the grieving period, which will be long. Thank you. Much appreciated.
And Jeff, I know she was visiting family yesterday on the train.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about who she was and how much she enjoyed stuff like that as she was.
Absolutely. So Chris lived here in Downers Grove. She took that Metra train on multiple occasions from the Main Street stop in Downers Grove to LaGrange to visit her sister on a regular basis, multiple times a week in many cases. She was going there to visit her sister that morning when she was caught in the accident. I take that train line at least once a week, if not more sometimes, so I'm very familiar with it. She enjoyed spending time with her sisters and her other siblings, obviously with her daughters, and certainly with her 5 grandchildren. She was a tremendous lady. One of the comments I enjoyed yesterday when we got the family together was somebody commented that some people are black and white, other people are gray. She was the gray, but I say that in the most positive way. She was the glue to the family. She got along and spoke with everybody and worked closely with family members. She was a fantastic cook of Mexican heritage. I came to like Mexican food tremendously joining this family. Her chicken tacos especially will be greatly missed. And she passed on many of her recipes to both myself and other family members too. The kids will miss her, the family will miss her. It'll be a difficult time, but we'll get through it.
Could you talk about anything that you've heard or people are talking about yesterday about what might have caused this and the situation?
Mm-hmm. We have no more knowledge than probably what's been out in the media and from what we've seen with some of the footage. We're waiting for the investigations, the coroner's office obviously as well. We'll have more information at that point, but we don't know too many details at this point other than what we've seen publicly.
If you don't mind, just to jump in on that point, Steve Jamboy, Kralvik, Jamboy and Schwartz, attorneys for the family. You know, the big concern and one of the reasons that big reason that the family wanted to make this statement today was to let anybody else in that neighborhood who knows about that crossing. From everything I've heard, that was an accident waiting to happen. That the traffic, because of the construction at that intersection, was so slowed down that people were in harm's way quite frequently, and this was something that was bound to happen and was very preventable.
And has the city mentioned anything about that construction in the meantime?
Nothing. I know that numerous residents have come forward and said they've made complaints to the city, but as far as I know, nothing was done about it.
And do you plan to maybe sue the city because of that?
You know, we're going to wait and let the NTSB do their thing and the ICC do their thing, and then evaluate the totality of the circumstances. At this point we have very little information.
like a very routine morning.
Yeah, yeah, it was a very routine morning for her, certainly, obviously pre-circumstances. Josephine and I were the first to get the news. We didn't hear when her sister reached out and said, "Hey, I haven't seen her." We did a check with her apartment building and realized that the sheriff's office was there at that point. So Josephine and I went there, and we were given the news. So as you can imagine, it was very shocking. Unfortunately, fortunately, we were able to shelter the kids from the information as much as possible. But it's shock. I mean, nobody expects this. It's a tragedy that nobody should endure, but it's one of those things that happens in life too, unfortunately.
You said that this is preventable, just thinking about how that could have been a possibility, could have been a regular routine day. How do you feel with that idea that this shouldn't happen?
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, we should all be thankful for the time that we have. I mean, time is a commodity that you just cannot get more of, and it's a sharp reminder to take advantage of the time you have with loved ones. Focus on what is important, and nobody expected this yesterday morning, but it's unfortunately part of life and it happens. So make the most of the time that you have is the one part I would take away.
And another one on background, sir. How long did she live in Downers Grove? Was she retired? What did she do for a living?
Sure. So she was retired. She lived here in the Downers Grove area. We've been back in this area for about 6 years, at least 3 to 4 years, roughly, give or take. Don't quote me on that. But she moved out here from Chicago. She's lived in Chicago for many, many years, most of her life. She actually worked in cleaning. She actually worked at the offices for, I'm not sure which news agency this here, Channel 7. But she worked in the facilities there cleaning for many years. And when we moved back to the area, she wanted to be closer to family, so she moved out here to be closer to us and the kids. And we were very fortunate for a few years to have her close by and a lot of extra time that we wouldn't normally have had. So we're much appreciative for that.